Welcome to Uncut Tarot. My name is Brian Gryphon. Today I am going to ask and answer the question, did we really lose a generation to HIV/AIDS? I am an expert in the sense that born in 1958, I came out as gay in the spring of 1978 and was sexually active before and then during and since the HIV/AIDS explosion in my communities decimated those communities. So this is a personal take on the question. So first of all, why ask the question? And then I will talk about the answer or answers and why those answers matter. So why ask the question? It is commonly said that we lost a generation to HIV/AIDS during the 10 to 15 years when it was very definitely a death sentence. And so is it factually true? And more importantly, whether it's true or not true, what is or should be the answer, the impact, the follow-up to whatever the answer is. So did we really lose a generation to HIV/AIDS? And the answers are no. And yes. No, the world did not lose an entire generation of gay men, of queer people, whatever you want to look at it. The community was devastated, and very much like World War I and World War II, wiped out a large percentage of mostly men of battle age, so whatever, 18 to 48 or whatever. So it definitely wiped out a huge percentage of our community through death and destruction. And those we absolutely lost. But it was not the entire generation. And there are some of us who survived. There are survivors who were infected. And there were others like me who, though not infected, clearly were affected. And then there were people outside our community that were infected as the infection spread, and affected as they lost loved ones. So no, we did not lose an entire generation by death. Did we lose an entire generation? Certainly, metaphorically, we did. We lost all the creativity, all the inspiration, all the genius that those people had and were. We lost all the love that they would have given, they would have generated, the inspiration, etc. Absolutely, that we lost. We also lost those of us who survived severely damaged. My own particular mental health journey started long before HIV/AIDS, and significant parts of my mental health conditions were adulthood. They were going back to infancy. So, but on top of that, and all the damage that those did, living through the explosion of HIV, the amount of death and destruction, the total unresponsive governments on many levels and individuals contributed to a complex form of PTSD for myself and for many others who witnessed it, who went to funerals so often that I had to stop going to funerals, who sat with people at Casey House and held their hands as they were passing away because their family abandoned them. There is no question that we lost more than just the dead. So did we lose an entire generation? Arguably, effectively, yes, we did. And we will perhaps never fully recover from that loss. We will move on. We will come up with other things, other inspiration, other creativity, other things, but not the ones that were lost. So effectively, yes, we lost a generation. There is an important distinction to that difference. We lost the lives of some people, and then significant number of people, and then we also lost the benefit of that. We also lost what the damage done to those of us who survived. And that is important because my loss, while it is not the loss of life, is an important thing to honor. I stopped going to funerals because I could no longer bury people. I left not only the city of my birth and the city I love, I left the country in order to try and find space here in Ohio. Did it work well? Who knows? I'm alive, so if something worked. Was it the best plan? It was the only plan I could come up with at the time that made sense to me, that took advantage of what was available to me. But absolutely, I am still here. There are people who've been infected for 30, 40 years who are still here. We did not lose those lives, but we certainly lost a lot of what could have, should have been had the infection not happened, had we not had to bury, etc. So yes, we effectively lost a generation, but no, we didn't lose everybody, and there are survivors, and they need to be recognized. If you don't want to honor them, at least recognize, honor that they were there, honor the lives that they did live. Be thankful that you may never know what we who lived through that experienced. So, why am I saying all of this? Partly because the truth matters. History needs to be recorded. My understanding of history needs to be recorded, but everybody's understanding. This is what happened. I lived through it. I saw it. It was real, and I will not allow deniers of it to go unanswered. Also, it matters because there are survivors, people infected, people affected, and they must not be ignored under the excuse of, we lost a generation, so let's move on. We cannot totally move on, and we are here, and we have needs, and they need to be addressed, whether it's the infected or whether it's the rest of us. So that is why it matters that I challenge casual statements of, we lost a generation. I understand that it's often meant to be supportive, to recognize that there was significant loss, that it impacted the communities, especially in the sense that queer communities, we have chosen family very often, especially those who weren't blessed like I am with a biological family that loves and accepts me. But for many people, the only family that really helps them is the queer family, and a lot of the ancestors are not here that should be here. And so I understand that they're trying to, it's meant to be a positive or a honorable recognition of what happened, but it's not totally accurate, and I want the record to show we did not lose an entire generation to death through HIV/AIDS. We have effectively lost generations, plural, of what could have been. And that's my ramble, and it seems appropriate that I get this posted at the very end of Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you.